Good morning, YouTube. How did you sleep last night? Because I can't sleep without sleeping pills. Oh, this is rich, this is wonderful and incredible. This is horrible and stupid as all hell. And I'm really glad that I got to release my video on the left teaching doublethink the day before this happened, just so I can point at it and laugh. This is it, people. This is the perfect example of assholes ruining it for everyone. This is how the brain implodes. As you may or may not know, last year Black Lives Matter showed up to Toronto's Pride Parade to protest the lack of black representation in the community. Now, for the sake of argument, I would like to point out that 1. This is Canada, where black people fled to, from slavery. Or as I like to say, this is where the railroad ended. And 2. This is Canada. We do not have a police shooting problem. Please note the asterisk at the end of that sentence. So, BLM blockading Pride was a surprise, especially considering that they were honorary guests and even had their own float. The demands were put forth and the parade would not be allowed to go forward until they were met. And after half an hour, the organizers caved and signed the agreement. In this situation, I had faith and reason, as Toronto Pride has had the full support of the Toronto Police Department since its inception, including the participation of police officers in the march and a police float. And since inclusion is the name of the game, Pride organizers refused to meet with BLM to abide by their demands, especially as one of the demands was the removal of police participation from the parade. And I don't know if I've ever seen the news media unilaterally condemn anything the way they condemn these demands. But I guess my faith was for nothing. Today, the news story broke that Toronto Pride will be removing the police float and marchers from the parade. I've already spoken about BLM being a black supremacist organization, and you can see it for yourself through their demands on their own website. But I'm more disappointed in Pride Toronto. But I'm not shocked. As I stated in public schools as a last resort, the schools now teach doublethink. This is a perfect case of it. In the name of inclusion, we shall exclude. To be more inclusive to Black Lives Matter members, they need to exclude the police force. This is it. There is no better example. And this is the reason that Pride can no longer call itself inclusive. This is actually not the first time they voted to exclude members of a community out. The first one I read about was when the feminists demanded that the men's rights activist float be rejected. But nobody cared about it, and nobody covered it in mass media. So, here I stand in front of you, and I ask you, I beg you, I demand of you, boycott Toronto Pride. Send the message to Pride Toronto, and remind them what they stand for. Remind them that they stand for pride in who you are. But right now they stand for shame.
Shame!